Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down the big ideas. So today, we're diving into how the ultra-wealthy really build their fortunes. And spoiler alert, we're not talking about salaries or picking stocks. We're talking about building valuable companies, and we're going to use a framework from entrepreneur Dan Martell to show you how it's done.
So how do they do it? You ever wonder how the top 1% or even the top 0.001% get that kind of life-changing money? It's not from a bitter paycheck. Nope. It's from owning something truly valuable, an asset that grows all on its own. It's from building a business. See, most of us get stuck over here on the left side, just focused on making money. We're trading our time for a salary, and that growth is linear. But the wealthy? They're playing a totally different game over on the right. They're focused on creating wealth by building something that has what's called enterprise value, and that is when your asset starts working for you. Now, enterprise value might sound like some fancy business school term, but it's really just the price tag on your business. It is the ultimate measure of the asset you've created. And today we are walking through the 7 specific steps you can take to make that price tag as big as you can possibly imagine. Okay, let's dive right in. Part 1 is all about building a rock-solid foundation. Before you can build a skyscraper, you got to make sure your financial house is completely in order. So step 1 is all about creating what buyers call durable revenue. Just think about your phone bill, right? It's predictable, it's reliable, and that's exactly why telecom companies are worth so much. Potential buyers will pay a massive premium for a business where they can count on that income month in and month out. But here's the thing. All the predictable revenue in the world means absolutely nothing if you're not keeping any of it. This quote says it all, doesn't it? Revenue might look good on paper, but profit is what actually keeps the lights on. And that brings us to the second super crucial step, maximizing what you actually make on every single sale. And that's your gross margin. It's simply the money that's left over after you've paid for the direct costs of what you sold. So in this classic lemonade stand example, you sell a cup for $2. The lemon, the sugar, the cup, that costs you a quarter. Your gross margin is $1.75. It's simple, it's powerful, and it is absolutely critical to your business's value. So this shows you the 3 direct levers you can pull right now to improve your profitability. 1, you can use technology to cut your delivery costs. 2, you can raise your prices, and trust me on this, a new owner would do that on day 1 anyway. And 3, you can fire those clients. You know, the ones who complain the most and pay the least. They're not just annoying, they're actively hurting your bottom line and your company's value. All right, let's move on and see how this all builds on itself. With that profitable, predictable revenue locked in, the next phase is all about your customers. Specifically, how to get them to stay with you and how to get them to spend more money. I want you to think of your business like a bucket that you're trying to fill with water, or in this case, customers. Churn is the giant hole in the bottom of that bucket. And if customers are leaking out just as fast as you're pouring them in, well, that bucket is never, ever going to fill up. And nobody wants to buy an empty bucket. So, churn is the metric that tells you just how fast that bucket is leaking. A high churn rate is a huge red flag for buyers because it signals there's a problem with your product or your service. You have to track this number like a hawk because, you can't fix what you don't measure. Okay, so while you're busy plugging the leaks in your bucket, you also have to focus on the opposite force, increasing the value of the customers who actually do stay. This is what we call lifetime value, or LTV for short. Your LTV is the total amount of money you can expect to get from a single customer over their entire relationship with you. This number is critical because a buyer wants to see a really healthy relationship between how much it costs you to get a customer and how much you make from them over time. And this gap right here, this is the magic formula. A really valuable business has a low customer acquisition cost, or CAC, and a very, very high lifetime value, or LTV. The wider this gap is, the healthier and more valuable your business is, period. All right, for our final part, we're going to take those strong financials and that loyal customer base, and we're going to turn the business into a true sellable asset, a machine that can actually run and grow without you. So step 5 is all about reducing what's called concentration risk. You know the old saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket? Well, that's exactly it. This risk can pop up in a few different places, relying way too much on one big client, one marketing channel, or even one superstar employee. A potential buyer looks at a chart like this and they see one thing, extreme risk. I mean, think about it. If that one big client making up 60% of your revenue decides to leave, your business could collapse overnight. You just have to diversify. So how do you do it?
Well, you follow these targets. No single client should ever be more than 15% of your revenue. Your top marketing channel shouldn't generate more than 40% of your leads. This kind of diversification makes your business way safer, and because of that, way more valuable. Step 6 is simple, but so many people miss it. Write it all down. A buyer isn't just purchasing your brand, they're purchasing your system, your secret sauce. And if that recipe only exists in your head, it has zero value to them. I mean, think about McDonald's. They have a playbook so detailed a teenager in Tokyo can make a Big Mac that tastes exactly the same as one in New York. That is a sellable system. And finally, we've come to the most important step of all. You need to build a team of leaders who can run the plays from your playbook without you on the field. The goal here is to make yourself, the founder, completely redundant. You know, Steve Jobs understood this perfectly. Your job isn't to be the smartest person in the room making all the calls. Your job is to hire people who are so good, they tell you what the right decisions are. Now, that is a truly valuable organization. When you finally have a strong leadership team in place, your role as CEO boils down to these 3 things. You set the vision, you manage the money, and you hire great people to execute. A buyer who sees a proven, effective leadership team already there, well, they know the business is in good hands, and that dramatically reduces their risk. So really, it all comes back to this one crucial mental shift, from focusing on monthly income to focusing on building a valuable asset. That right there is the fundamental difference between just making money and truly creating wealth. So, by focusing on these 7 steps, you're not just running a business to pay the bills, you're engineering a valuable machine. You are building a legacy. So the real question to leave you with is, what's the one step you're going to take this quarter to make your asset more valuable? Thanks for tuning into The Explainer.